Welcome to Backwater Casting. I'm your host, Rick Greene. Today we're fishing on beautiful Spednick Lake for some early fall smallmouth fishing with my guest, retired Fredericton Fire Chief Paul Fleming. I'll get us a little closer. But out here you got scattered weed and rock out here, and they could be anywhere on it, but the point focused it a bit last time. Okay, and then just the rod tip down and just snap your rod and get it to pop. Just get the slack out of it. There you go. So it's a reel and pop, reel, pop. There. And the more aggressive the pop. So the cadence I like to do with this, so typically I'd let that sit for a sec. I hit 1, 2, let it sit for a second. 1, 1, 2, let it sit for a second. The pop makes them come. Somebody's got to break the ice. Decent. Here, just swing it right up here. I'll take care of your fingers. Here we go. Don't hurt anybody. There. You can hold that for your auspicious start to the day.
There you go.
With any luck, that will be the smallest one of the day, although I can catch smaller.
Yeah.
Okay, top water's free.
Yes, sir. 1-0.
Yeah, down now. Don't be like that. That was smaller than either of the ones we had blow up on it before, but you definitely broke the ice.
I felt great.
Dead stop. So that's what I'm going to have to do. I'm working it too fast. That was dead stop, and it was just boom. Pickerel. The old pickerel. Now, if I can, oh, you stop.
Good size one.
Another pickerel, we gotta move. Boys, this is a bass fishing show. I kind of suspected when he didn't jump. It's so odd, we're on a bare bottom. You would think these guys would be in the grass. There we go. Well, it's so weird. That was 2 casts in a row with the jackall squad minnow, and we're on what basically looks to me like a sand bottom. I'm not marking any grass here at all, and 2 pickerel in a row. Just you think of them so much as being in that grass, but apparently not today. They don't want it moving. What the heck have I got now? That is the biggest fall fish ever. I am definitely going to get a multi-species award for today. That is insane. So lots of folks call those chubs. Say, oh my goodness, they're big chub. It's actually called a fall fish. That is a serious guy right there. And he hit a jackall squad minnow jerkbait. They just look like a giant chub, but that's not what they are. There.
I was going to say, I've never seen a chub that big.
Yeah, that's called a fall fish. Same color and everything as a chub, but they are not. He hit that again, that dead in the water, and the one I missed a minute ago, same thing, it was dead in the water. Town's going down. Up. Now we're cooking.
That's a nice one.
Yeah. So try straight ahead of the boat, Paul, when you come in. I put the brakes on as soon as I got my hand on that town. There we go. I'd say 1 3/4. Maybe, yeah, maybe a wee bit more. He's fat.
What's the talon, Rick?
So what I did there, Paul, is as soon as I hit that fish, sometimes this time of year the smallies will school up. So I hit the remote control. I've got a talon on the back. It's a 10-footer. I just hit down. It's a spike that goes right down into the bottom and stops the boat as long as it's not rocked, and that fetched us up really good. So a little bit of open stuff here, just in case he's got buddies up there.
So bass are a school fish?
Well, Paul, they do school to a degree, but this time of year they start tending to really bunch up. You get into some really big schools of fish. But when you got the fry, when they hatch in the spring, you got a ball like this, and predation dwindles that ball down. But I think that year class stays together for a long time.
Oh, okay.
And then the fall, they really feed up together.
Yeah. So, Rick, do you use any different kind of baits in the spring and the fall and the summer, or use different tactics?
Yeah, a lot of times, early spring is, I like to fish jerk baits like I'm doing right now in the early spring. The colder the water, the slower I would fish it. As the summer warms up, a lot of people put them away in the summer, but they work in the summer. You work them a little quicker. Now as you progress into late May and June, they'll start spawning here in New Brunswick. And a lot of guys will sight fish them, nesting fish, and they'll sight fish them. They'll throw tubes and flukes and top waters over top of them, that sort of thing. We're not doing great with the top water today, but you got one bass, I got a pickerel on it. But the jerk bait should be the ticket, and we're gonna go, we'll do this quickly on this flat. We're gonna get out there in some deeper water and see if they're out there. I feel like we're not getting enough bites, well, almost no bites in the shallow water, so they've definitely moved out. They'll be shallower in the spring than they are right now. Talons down. Rock. It may not hold there. Another pickerel. That's the craziest thing ever. Not my record that I wanted to set today, but that's the third pickerel today. It's getting a little bigger. Ooh. Not the worst of all, sharp hooks and sharp teeth. Yeah, they're getting bigger.
Yeah.
He jumped right up and took that off top. So a good thing to do after you do one of those guys is just check and make sure you get no nicks in your line or you lose your top water.
Right.
I know it's all emotions are new, right? So, okay, so it's called a jerk bait. Basically, it's a suspending bait. So what I do is hit the water. I give it 2 good snaps and I let it sit there for a second. That drove it down probably 2 feet.
Yeah.
And then you do it again and you just let it sit there for a sec. And just take the rod tip down. That. We know this has caught a few fish already, so you can have this one if you want it, or you're going to stick with the top water for now.
I'll stick with this for now.
Okay, so what we're going to do then,
yeah,
we're going to go around this pile of rock, and we'll spend a few minutes there. When they're there, they're everywhere. When they're not, we're going to right back out. A bass! Holy smokes, we got a bass! Yay! He came after that twice. I missed him the first time. I was trying to dodge that big rock. Tiny, sharp hooks. We got to find where the big girls are hanging out. Welcome back to Backwater Casting. In this part of the show, we're going to chat with our guest Paul Fleming about his career with the Fredericton Fire Department and the importance of fire prevention and safety in the home.
There you go. Got fish.
There you go.
There you go.
Almost a double header if I'd have waited a second. I have another brown fish.
Come here, baby. Oh.
Trying to, yeah. Okay, yes.
Thanks, Rick.
Whoa.
Excellent.
There, just pinch. He won't go anywhere.
That's a little fat one right there. Yes, sir. Jumps. I like it when they jump.
Well, Paul, why don't you tell me and the folks at home a little bit about your career?
I was with the fire department 34 years before I retired. Started in '85, and worked all around the city, all different stations. We had 5 stations at that time, and through the years I worked my way up through the ranks, and I hit every single rank, and then moved into management in 2005, in charge of prevention, education, and investigation, and and the rest is history. It's been a great career.
So at what point did you become chief?
Yeah, I became chief in 2013, and we had a lot of work to do. We had a great young department, a lot of people just coming on, and it was I tried to get some excitement back through the place, and it was a good time. Busy.
So I got to ask this question. So when you were growing up, was it your goal to be a fireman?
No.
No? Because a lot of kids growing up, they want to be a fireman or a policeman.
Yeah. I think the fire service now is more publicized, like it wasn't back then. Now you got TV shows and all this. And no, I came to Canada in a completely different career. So, yeah.
So it sounds like it was a good change for you, though.
Very satisfying.
Yeah.
It's a satisfying career. Yeah.
A guy can't ask for any more than that with work. Hooked him in the side, he come up and slapped at it. Bad on you, buddy. Look how brown he is. That is, they used to call him that down in Tennessee, them old brown fish. Boys, he is a brown one. I saw him come up and he smacked that. He missed the bait and got himself hooked in the side. So before you joined the fire department, Paul, was there something else that you were involved in before that?
So I came, I worked for a place called, a company called Churches of England, and they're a shoemaker. And they owned Hart Shoes. And I came over here and I did production management and design. And so I worked there for 6 years. Great time, fantastic people there. A lot of history there. And so the shoe industry was kind of going downhill. There's a lot of exports and a lot of imports from countries, and it was having a tough time. And I really like Fredericton. It's a beautiful place, and my wife worked for the government, and we wanted to stay. So one day this came in the paper, and the rest is history. He's a bass.
How big we got?
Well, it feels a lot different with this light rod.
Yeah, it does. They're all.
Yeah.
I get with the blue fox. I use a lighter rod because it throws it better.
That's a nice one right there.
Yeah. Your fish. There you go.
Yeah. Yeah, that feels good on that rod.
Yeah, no, I get the lighter rod with the blue fox because you can throw it better.
Yeah.
The one I just gave you is a number 4 blue fox inline spinner. It looks like any minnow in the lake. And there's been lots of tournament money won on that little bait.
Yeah, it hit pretty hard, and it's a lighter rod, and it feels good. You see, it's pretty good. I enjoyed that.
You get a 4-pounder on there, you'll enjoy it a lot more.
Yeah, I can't imagine if it was a great big one.
So Paul, do you have any fire prevention tips or just homeowner tips to help prevent fires and look after yourself in the case of a fire?
Yeah, the biggest problem they have in the fire service is, people have smoke detectors in their houses, but the biggest problem, they don't keep the batteries up. So they either take the batteries out because it's in the wrong place, because you're not supposed to have it in the kitchen because it'll keep going off. So that's the problem is when we go into places, they have the smoke detectors. Sometimes there's no battery in, or it's disconnected, and simple rules. I mean, I know a lot of people get away from it now. We used to have a lot of fires, people with oil on the stove, and through a lot of education, and we do put a lot of education out, is people don't do that much anymore. So yeah, it's just good habits. That's all it is. And as for insurance, I mean, I think some of that. Of course, Fredericton is in the university town, and I believe there's 5,000 or 6,000 students come in, and they probably don't even think about insurance in apartments. And maybe we worked with the University of New Brunswick very closely for a while.
Small, I'd say. Coming way too easy. My goodness gracious, right down the peanut gallery. Re-range 110. He said, I want that. They're aggressive though. I mean, imagine, I've said it before, imagine if these things grew to 40, 50 pounds. I don't know if you'd dare go swimming. It's just about try and eat anything.
Yeah, barbecues is another issue we have. The problem with people having them too close to the house, we've had a lot of fires where the siding's caught, and vinyl siding is so combustible, and it just goes from the ground level to the eaves really fast. We advise 3 meters the minimum from there. But the other problem we have is, of course, is barbecues on verandas in apartment buildings. A lot of places in Ontario, they have actually natural gas directly to that. But in New Brunswick, it's not allowed, and only because you're not allowed to take a 20-pound propane cylinder through a building. So the barbecue is okay, but you just can't take. How do you enforce it? You have to be there, and it just never happens. and it's a concern.
Yeah, I guess another good point, Paul, would be insurance, like whether you're an owner or a renter.
Yeah, so people don't really, the importance of insurance. Just your possessions and things like that, and we have a lot of that. It's always good to have your house reassessed every so long because the value changes and things like that. But the biggest problem in the fire service right now is, and they're very aware of it, is the use of generators and the proper use. People will put them in the garage or they'll put them inside, and we've had quite a few people with carbon monoxide poisoning and things like that. And we saw in the Acadia Peninsula with the ice storm, we had people killed. And that's why it's important to have a CO detector in your house as well. So we push that all the time, and it's a constant educational update all the time. So it's very important.
I missed the last one. There he is. Come on, buddy. There. We're not getting any big ones yet, but... So you were saying, Paul, that you grew up in Manchester, England. So what was that like growing up over there?
Yeah, well, I lived outside, just outside Manchester, so in the suburbs. And it was good. Yeah, it was great. That's all you knew, right? So once you get over here, you compare, how fast a pace of life it is there and things like that. And yeah, no, it was good.
You can't tell in this low light. For a second, I thought there was two of them. So interesting, I upsized my bait, and that bite was a lot faster than anything we've had so far. Well, other than this crazy windy day on the lake today, what was your first fishing experience in New Brunswick after you moved over?
Fishing experience in Canada? That would be brook trout. Yeah, I mean, when I've been over here now 42 years, and back then, you'd go into the woods pretty anywhere and catch a good amount of brook trout for supper or something like that, and that was a lot of fun, and yeah, it's great. And the second one is probably the head pond, smallmouth bass with my cousin who's here, and that's a great experience as well. It's different, but yeah, just being able to walk through the woods and catch some brook trout was, when you come from a city, that doesn't happen, right? So that was a great time.
Well, he's a little better.
Yeah, that's a good size one.
I don't want to break a rod.
So what size is that one, Rick, you think?
A high 2, I would say. Nice one. So this is a drop shot, Paul. So I've got a small minnow imitation bait on there, and I've got a 1/2 ounce drop shot weight. The whole idea is just drop it and just watch the line. I'm going to swing the boat back into the wind. So you want the line, you want it to go slack for just a second so you know it's on the bottom, like mine's slack right now. So I'm going to turn my hand, I'm going to tighten it up so I have a tight line, because your sinker is under your bait. So as long as you have a tight line, your bait's just off the bottom.
So is there any action you do?
I move it a wee bit like that once in a while, but I'm going to move the boat through here and see if there's any fish here in this little trough. What I'm going to do is I'm going to try and hold the nose into the wind and just slow the drift down so you can fish. So all I'm doing with this, I'm throwing it ahead of the boat about that far in, like 20 feet offshore.
Yeah.
I'm letting it go down and get tight, and I'm just reeling it up and really slowly winding it up as it goes down that bank. You'll just feel pressure. You don't have to slam it, but just lift into them, with a good little lift. And here, give me that.
Okay.
I'm going to turn the boat into the wind.
See this rod here? It's a drop shot rod. What's the difference between that and a regular rod?
Well, it's actually my favorite drop shot rod, and it's just, they designed it to fish with a drop shot. So it's just got a nice balance. It's got a soft tip. So you can, a lot of times we're fishing really deep, and it lets you feel that bite, And I find with the heavier rods, I tried it with heavier rods at the beginning, and when you set the hook on, say, a medium heavy rod on a fish 25 or 30 feet down, I found that they tend to torpedo right to the surface and jump, and half the time they did that, they threw the bait. So they designed that so that you don't put that much pressure on the fish, and you've got a much better chance of landing them, and I like the sensitivity of that rod.
Yeah, I can feel a difference in the weight. You can really feel it dragging on the bottom.
See how this works out. Just fish ahead of the boat and just, like I say, just walk it down the bank. And when you get out that far, just wind her up and go and toss her again. I'd fish the other way.
The other way?
Yeah,
Okay.
because you're going to have all the drag from the boat. That way you can control your tension on the line.
Yep.
Keep your rod up and just real slow. You just want to ease it along, no speed, just ease it along, a little slower. Just kind of sliding it down the bank.
Jeez.
First drop shot fish.
Oh yeah.
Oh, nice one too.
He wasn't pulling or nothing. He just,
He was hanging on for dear life.
that was good.
That was like a snag.
Yeah.
Okay, so you got to hold that one for a picture for your first drop shot fish.
There you go. Yeah, I like that one. That's a good one.
Yeah.
First drop shot fish.
Yeah, there, good one. All right.
Okay. That was strange. I thought it was on the bottom there. I didn't. Just didn't feel the same as anything else.
Yeah, it doesn't feel like a bite, does it?
No, it doesn't. I don't think it's a world record.
He says, I got bit. That's what I got.
Rick gave me the roadmap.
Yeah. The blueprint to success.
That's right.
That's a scrapper.
It is.
There he is. So just hold the line for a sec to get a picture of your first blue fox fish. Come on. Okay. Got him. There you go.
That was good. He's a fighter.
He did not want to come to the boat, did he?
He didn't want to come to the boat.
Oh, a couple of pounds anyway. A re-range fish. He bit my jack all re-range. Yeah, he's a chunk. I'll get you doing me a picture.
How big, Rick?
He's a big too, big belly. Thank you.
Excellent.
Thought I should get a picture. Paul, we appreciate you coming out and spending a very windy day with us out here on the lake. That was a rocking old day out there for the most part. But
Yeah.
great to have you on as a guest. It was a lot of fun today, and
Yeah.
wish the sun had come out. And
I don't know.
so it's just fishing, but it was fun. It was still fun. Nice day. I love this lake, and it has great days, and it's
This is a great day. I mean,
it was
I had a
pretty
great
good.
time, and yeah, it was a lot of fun, and I really want to thank you. I mean,
Yeah.
I learned a lot off you, and
you got your first drop shot fish, your first jerkbait fish, your first blue fox fish. I mean,
I'm
all
telling
three firsts in one day.
it's a whole new world now when we go
It's
fishing.
all different. Anyway, appreciate you
Thanks
so
a
much
lot.
coming out with us. Thank you very
Thank you.
much.